Hi everyone, I am Antonio Alanis, and today I want to talk about the top lessons that I learned as a full-time artist and a grant writer. And I will talk about all these things in order of importance, so stick around to see which one is the one that I think is the most important. So, again, if you're new here, I like to give you some opportunity to learn more about myself and what I do in this channel or in this social media content creation adventure is document my life as an artist and as a full-time grant writer. And I want to share so many things that are happening right now. I find it super important that I talk about these things as they are happening, and I can also share what is it that I'm going through or living through, right? So let's go back to how everything or when everything started back in 2022. I took a major jump from my career. I was working for an organization in Durham, North Carolina. I was working full time, and it came time to think about what I wanted to do with the rest of my time. I remember having a lot of opportunities to talk with friends, family, and mentors who were able to guide me and come up with the solution of leaving my full time job into something that allowed me to explore my interest more in depth. And I was able to create so many things, learn so many things as well. And today I want to fast forward to January 2024. It's been 2 years since I started this journey, and it's been an adventure. It's been so many things that are happening, so many highs, so many lows, so many things that I've shared, and so many things that I have not shared. But today I just want to cover 7 things that I find super important in this path. So, the first one would be embracing uncertainty in income. This one was a difficult one for me because I was used to receiving a paycheck every 2 weeks, and it was hard because after going solo, that changed. I was not getting paychecks every 2 weeks. It was more how many commissions or how many projects I was working on, and that was something that was a, important for me to learn about how to gather opportunities, how to get myself out there, how to grow as an artist. One of the biggest things for me was some months were busier than others. Some months I had a lot of work, some months I had very little work, and it was difficult for me to learn how to balance that out in the beginning. I really took the slow months with an open mind. I made sure to not waste the time, but also reinvest that time in learning something that would allow me to continue growing. Was able to engage in a lot of classes. I enrolled in many webinars. I can tell you how many webinars I did or how many workshops I enrolled in, but it was super important for me to create the space that I wanted to have, right? And I'm very thankful that when I had very slow months, I was able to create next plans and strategically think about what other things I wanted to do. So, however, when the months were a little bit more busy, what I ended up doing was working on things and creating and doing commissions. And I really enjoyed having the opportunity to reflect and create, and as well as create for others. So definitely, uncertainty is something that I'm still learning how to do and how to create. And I will be learning more about uncertainty as well. As I talk in today, I also want to share some pictures that I've shared in the past as well. And I want to give a shout out to the Inter Latin American Artists Collective, ELAC, for inviting me to be part of a team of 7 artists, including myself. And this picture here is from the Durham Arts Council when we created the first Corrientes Latinas or Latin Currents, which was an exhibition that we did in 2023 in the early years of 20 the early months of 2023. So you can see a lot of the work here, and I could go on and on talking about the exhibition, but I want to also be focused. So the second thing that I learned, or I wanted to tell myself if I were listening 2 years ago, or this would be like my message to me 2 years ago. What is the secret to balancing out work and personal time? There is so much to say. The first one is there were a lot of things happening at once, and then sometimes there were very few little things happening. And I wanted to create the opportunity for me to keep learning, but not just learning. I had to learn, and I'm still learning how to rest. Taking time off is crucial for the creative process, for understanding how to write grants better, and for having an open mind and a fresh mind to do more illustrations and more artwork. And I'm learning to embrace resting and incorporating that into my practice. Resting, doing nothing, thinking to produce, to create. I definitely have enjoyed learning how that is for my creative practice. And I find that when I'm more rested, I am more likely to create things that I enjoy doing and I'm not just burnt out or tired. So I think it's important to talk about balancing my time and balancing my personal time. I will tell you, after working on so many jobs before doing this solo, I began to resent myself because I was doing a lot of work for other people and for other clients that I was leaving myself behind. And I told myself one of the biggest things I remember was I don't want to continue doing this type of job, grant writing, illustration, if it takes the majority of my time and I don't get to enjoy my time and my energy, right? Because I wanted to create things for me as well, not just create for others and then leave myself behind. So I wanted to make sure that I created for me as well as I created for others. So super important. The third one is working in versus working on your business. What's the difference between that? And to give you some background, I don't come from a business background. I didn't go to undergrad for a business degree or anything like that. My undergrad degree is in education. No, sorry. My undergrad degree is on Spanish language and literature, and I have a master's in education, right? There are a lot of things that I have learned over the last many years about looking at this practice as a business, right? As thinking about what comes in, what comes out, cash flow, and all these other terminology things that are important. And it's definitely something that I'm still learning about, something that I want to continue doing. But the biggest thing here is that in the beginning, I found myself working for other people a lot in commissions and things that I was doing, and I enjoyed that. But then there came a time when I was talking to other mentors, friends, and people who told me that just because I'm working on a part of the business of producing a service or producing consulting opportunities for other people, it didn't mean that I was also thinking about the business strategy, about the growth, about improving processes, about improving the way that I communicated with people, with potential prospects and people like that. So that was one of the biggest things that I really learned about. And I found that the more I began to do this kind of work, the more I had to separate working in and on my business, and it has helped a lot. I won't go into specifics of what I'm doing right now, where I'm going next, but I think it's super important to learn about what is that working in and on your business is about. Here is a picture of a exhibition that I participated in for Dia de los Muertos at Duke University in fall of 2023. And it was an amazing experience to collaborate again with ELAC and bring a sculpture of a skull and work in this capacity. fourth lesson that I want to share today is continual learning and education. When I first left my previous job, I understood from the very beginning that educating myself and learning about opportunities was one of the biggest things that I had to do. Realizing that I don't come from a business background didn't mean that I had to be stuck. It was just more work that I had to do, more learning that I had to do. And education was key. Education has always been key. And as someone who taught Spanish, I embraced the uncertainty, I embraced the new adventure, and I realized that learning never stopped. Luckily, I've always liked learning. I always liked being challenged intellectually and knowing that I don't know every single thing out there. And there are people out here who know more and who have more experience than I do. And understanding that that's something that I really valued. Focusing on my personal as well as my professional growth and in terms of what I wanted to do and where I want to take the things that I'm doing right now, right, as an artist, as a grant writer. So, one of the biggest tips that I have within this continual learning and education is key part of the talk today is surrounding yourselves with resources that your community may have. I won't go into many details about what things allow me to learn, but there are a lot of workshops, a lot of classes, a lot of conferences that I've been able to attend these last few years in my city. And I have enjoyed learning a lot about what they have for people who are also starting their business. One of the biggest things that I'm super thankful to where I live in Durham, North Carolina, is that there are a lot of things that are happening right now. The city is growing and the city is paying attention to the needs of community members. And I just feel so fortunate to be in a city that listens and also creates opportunities for artists and grant writers like myself. So look into your city. They may be offering things. Look into conferences, look into invitations, online courses, workshops like that. But also be careful about those things. Make sure that you do some research about what is it that they promise and read some reviews, make an informed decision before purchasing things and learning more about them. Number five, so how does embracing collaboration fuel your success? This one is also super important. And all I can say is that nothing that I have achieved has been done alone. I have created so many things because I've had the support of people, of friends, of family, of colleagues, or of former people who I used to work with, mentors, collaborators, and networks. All of them have contributed to my journey. And I have a lot to thank them for. I think that if it weren't for them, I would not be where I am right now. I have to be very humble about that because they have opened so many doors. They have spoken about my service to other people, and that has allowed me to be in places that I never imagined I would be. In the last 2 years, I've done many commissions of people reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, Antonio, I like your work. How can you do something for us? How can you do an illustration for me?" And that's without even me announcing that I do illustrations or grant writing. A lot of word of mouth has happened. People have reached out and asked for things about me or for me, from me, and I really, really enjoyed that. So, again, to everyone who has participated in this, whether you referred my name or invited me to a particular place to meet someone, that has helped me so much. I can't thank you enough. And you know who you are here and in this world. This picture here, it's a picture of a good friend of mine who attended one of my classes. This was actually one of the first classes that I did right after going solo. I was invited by Adil Ortiz, who lives and works here, and she invited me to create a class on painting. right? Creating a class on painting to gather feedback on a project that she was working on called the workshop was called Happy Trails. And she invited me to think outside the box to create an experience for community members to think about what is it that they wanted to create and see from this newly created park, right? Newly created pathway that they wanted to create. So Aidil invited me to participate, and I was able to spend a couple of hours leading a painting class. And again, wouldn't have been done without Aidil and anyone else who showed up. So super happy, super thankful. So this one is a picture of my good friend Luis McKinney, who's also an artist and part of the ILAC Artist Collaborative, Inter-Latin American Artist Collaborative. And this one is finding your people. Again, creating a network of individuals has been important. I could not do the things that I'm doing without the groups that I belong to. And I've learned over the past 2 years that discovering the right community that wants to see you succeed, the right community that refers you to other opportunities, finding the right people, the right community is vital. This group has been super important, and it's one of many groups that I belong to. Being a grant writer and an artist is I can be diverse, I can be malleable, I can be explorative in terms of the people that I hang out with or interact with. And I think it's super important to think about finding the right people that want to see you go to the next level. And definitely that has been the case. Even if it's not about getting more business or more opportunities or learning for you, I think that it's always important to find the people that will listen to what you're going through, to find the people that will give you their opinion about some things that are also happening to them. For example, pricing, charging other people for your work, valuing your work as an artist. I think it's been important. And we had so many talks, not only in this group, but also other groups as well, where we talk about things that are important for us as professional artists. And I have really enjoyed having that opportunity. So, again, finding your people. One of the biggest things would be point number 7, networking. Networking has been my top advice. I always hear this comment from people that I interact with is, and I say this humbly, I always hear, you know, so many people. And I think it's important to know a lot of people that we work with because they're the ones that will allow us to create, to elevate, to move on to the next part and what we need to do. And I don't mean this in a way of being extractive. I don't mean this in a way of being one sided. In all my collaborations that I do, I really enjoy having a genuine connection and not just creating something for benefiting myself and just leaving it like that. I really like to keep connections strong throughout the year, throughout the months, throughout the years, and think about, you know, maybe in the future we would have collaboration possible collaboration coming. And I find that I think that has worked so many times. I think about all the times that I've created in a project. It's always happened because I have a connection to someone, or that person has a connection to someone else, and that person has allowed me to participate in something that I wasn't able to just do by myself. So, networking is my top advice. I would tell myself: create, but not just create. Take your work out there and make sure that you are seen, and also that people know who you are, and do it with a genuine do it with a genuine idea, not just again to be extractive, but to collaborate as well. Of course, that's up to you. I would tell this to myself: do it genuinely, and do it in a way that builds not only yourself but also the other party. Again, networking being top advice. I cannot tell you how many times I've been able to been to someone referred me to another thing or another service, and people have reached out to me directly. People have said, Antonio, I've heard about your work somewhere. Can I talk to you about writing this grant for me? Can I talk to you about creating an illustration? And that has worked. That has worked so many times. I just super happy and super thankful. So that concludes the end of the video. I just want to say that leaving a full-time job to start something new that hasn't been done in the past, it's difficult, but also can be so gratifying and can be enlightening for ourselves. It can be a journey that can be hard. I'm not going to lie. There are some times that I am just not sure what to do or what's coming up next. But I think that with time, with energy, having the right people on beside you, and having the right resources, the right opportunities, you'll be able to go through those challenges and essentially continue going going forward. So again, the 7 things that I shared today were stepping stones to what I believe have allowed me to be where I am today. 2 years as a full-time artist, as a grant writer, and take these as you want them or as you wish. I just offer these to you and really offer them to me in the past when I was thinking about, what did I just do? Did I just leave a full-time job for something that I don't even know if it's going to work? But I knew it was going to work. So again, thanks for watching, and also I want to welcome you again to this channel. And remember that your art is here for you. Remember that your work is here for you, for your community, and that hopefully you can continue to keep exploring. And I think that one of the biggest things and motivations that I have is that this kind of work allows me to continue making my community stronger, as well as leaving a mark on this world that will allow us to grow stronger and have a happier and healthier future. So thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know what point is more resonant to you, and if you're a full-time artist yourself right now, if you've been doing this for so many years, what has been your top tip or advice that you want to share? Or if you're just thinking about leaving your full-time job and doing something like this yourself, what is one thing that you want to learn more about? So again, thank you so much. Have a good day.